people.
You were talking about educating music listeners about political issues, and I asked about educating political folks about culture. What about the Democratic Party specifically? Here you have an organization, a party that wants young people to vote for them, relies on young people to vote for them, and yet seems to have a disdain for the very culture that young people enjoy. Any tips out there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for 2 years I worked as a scheduling secretary for U.S. Senator Alan Cranston in California, and while he was one of the most progressive people to ever, be in the United States Senate, he spent, 85% of the time I was with him on the phone asking rich guys for money. In order to mount a presidential campaign, it's hundreds of millions of dollars to purchase advertising time to get your negative campaigning across. I mean, that's the craziest way to even call it a democracy is really bizarre. And so I don't know that I have any advice to the candidates about, as the half Kenyan, Harvard-educated guy from Illinois who's not running for office this year. I'm not sure whether that makes me more or less of an authority, on the subject, other than to say that it is a shame and a curse on our country that our democracy is shackled with only two political parties. I know that neither one of them represents my views on a great many issues. I think that's why you see a lot of people. It's not due to apathy that people will stay home, on election day. It's due to the fact that there really isn't a party that represents many, good, average working people's concerns. The one thing that's interesting about Barack Obama is that rather than trying to just, kowtow to be as conservative as possible and try to get, some of those Republican votes, trying to expand the pool. And I think that's the way to do it. But I think that, even in that, he's gotten a lot of heat. Really, his speech on race, the famous speech on race, was the first time in my adult life that I've admired a politician, at least during one speech. And but can that sort of intelligent, thoughtful discourse be something that matters in this world of angry, inaccurate, negative sound bites? It's hard to say.
Well, that's up to us, I think.
Yeah, that is up to us.
I mean, some people would say that the sort of music you do is angry.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't one be angry considering what's going on?
So maybe anger isn't such a bad thing.
It's like, you promised not to ask any Rage Against the Machine songs, but there's quite a famous lyric that says anger is a gift in one of those songs.
So final thoughts to people out there who are trying to make it maybe in music, trying to make it maybe in the independent art world, art and culture world. It can seem pretty daunting. You've talked about the music. Any sort of suggestions?
The only time in my life when I've achieved any artistic success or even commercial success is when I've done something that was honest. From the time I started practicing guitar as a teenager, I wanted to be a rock star, and I signed to a record label with a band prior to Rage Against the Machine that played the game, and we hired a producer who tried to make our sound into one that got on the radio, and we kissed all the babies and shook all the hands that we needed to do. The band didn't do very well, was summarily dropped, and it was at that moment that I vowed that I'd never play another note of music that I didn't believe in, and that's when Rage Against the Machine was formed. And doing the same thing now with the Night Watchman music, which is acoustic but still has the same honesty, and where you write songs whether 12 people are going to hear them or 12 million people are going to hear them. And I'm not sure how that translates, what the analogy is in the world of independent media, but to really, it sounds corny like an after-school special, but whether you follow your convictions and follow your heart, that at the end of the day and at the end of your life, you'll be able to look in the mirror and say, that you did the right thing.
Oh, thanks so much for
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad to have you. Good luck with the tour.
Thank you.
The 7 summits and I swam the 7 seas, but the road I must travel, its end I cannot see. Well, I fought in the jungles and I fought in the streets, but the road I must travel, its end I cannot see. Well, once I had a reason, don't know what it could be, and the road I must travel, its end I cannot see. Well, I sang to myself that I want to be free, but the road I must travel, its end I cannot see. I walked the empty desert and was burned in the heat. but the road I must travel, its end I cannot see. Well, I crossed the frozen wasteland, in the bitter cold did freeze, and the road I must travel, its end I cannot see. And I will knock on every door, for I do not have a key. And the road I must travel, its end I cannot see. Well, I sang to myself that I wanna be free, but the road I must travel, its end I cannot see. They shot a man in Soho, couldn't guess his age. I found his empty journal, I filled up every page. I called up my state senator, they said he wasn't there. The secretary took my name, and man, she sounded scared. So I counted my misfortunes, I added up the blame. I picked through all the garbage, I checked off all the names. I read in the newspaper, they questioned all my friends. They hoped that they could find my ass before I struck again. So I sang to myself that I wanna be free, but the road I must travel, its end I cannot see. And so when thirsty I will drink, and when hungry I will steal, but the road I must travel, its end I cannot see. And so tonight I walk in anger, with worn shoes on my feet, and the road I must travel, its end I cannot see. And I will sing to myself that I'm gonna be free, but the road I must travel, yeah, its end I cannot see. But it's too dark now to read.